Welcome to Ushuaia,
Located on the Beagle Channel, Ushuaia is the most southern city in the world.
hence its nickname Fin del Mundo, or End of the World.
Most visitors to Ushuaia come for one of two reasons,
This is the main port for expedition ships leaving to Antarctica.
or as the finishing point after driving the Pan-American Highway.
Presumably why all of these camper vans are here, but surrounded by jagged mountain peaks, forest and blue sea. I'm actually really blown away by Ushuaia. I always thought of it as just a destination for when you're coming to Antarctica, but it's stunning actually. The aeroplane ride was spectacular, and I think it's definitely well worth a visit as a destination on its own right.
Despite its remote geographical location, Ushuaia has most of the conveniences you'd expect from any modern city, including supermarkets, shops and restaurants.
We have just picked up a rental car here in Ushuaia from Tiger Car Rental, which is right here in downtown Ushuaia. The car seems really new. Actually, it's only got 5,000 miles on it. We've got it for the next 4 days to explore the area. We've just driven about 20 minutes outside of Ushuaia and already we're well into the mountains. We drove past a really nice looking campsite that I would be very keen to stay at if we had either camping gear or a camper van. And now we're at a viewpoint called Valle Carbajal, I think, which has this really nice view.
We're not even going anywhere specific today, but it's just really nice to drive around and enjoy the scenery in this area.
We're now at another viewpoint. This one is Mirador Paso Garibaldi, and we're looking down over this beautiful blue lake down there. Unfortunately though, I think this is going to be the end of our explorations for today because we need to go and check into our accommodation. So this is our accommodation here in Ushuaia, and it's quite nice actually. It is a nice big kitchen and living area, plenty of amenities in the kitchen, nice big table, big sofa and TV, looks pretty comfortable. And it's very modern and quite fresh looking as well. But the best thing about this apartment is that we have a massive window with a really nice view out over the sea and the mountains on the other side of the Beagle Channel. Honestly, this is the reason why we chose to stay here. So we can just sit here and look out and enjoy the view. And then if we go down this corridor here, we have first the bathroom over there. And then through this door here, we have the bedroom. And the bedroom, again, has another one of these massive windows. So we can enjoy this really nice view while we're in bed. Today we're off to a place called Puerto Almanza, which is east of Ushuaia, further down the Beagle Channel. It's apparently really nice there, but the drive there is quite interesting. So the first half of the drive was the same as we did yesterday, just on the main highway. Now we've turned off onto a smaller road. We've still got about 30 kilometers to go, but this road now is like an entirely gravel road, so it's suddenly feeling a lot more rural. This car was super clean when we picked it up, but I think by the time we arrive in Puerto Almanza, it's going to be pretty filthy. We've just stopped off because we've come across a viewpoint, and the vegetation and the landscape around here is really nice. You've got this really nice area of trees and then these jagged, dramatic mountains. So we just thought we'd stop and have a quick look up there at the viewpoint. Mirador Cerro Cornu. It is very, very peaceful around here. I can't hear anything apart from the birds cheeping. Doesn't seem like there's anybody else around anywhere nearby. It's really nice. Just heard a rumble of thunder though, so I better get back to the car. Definitely picked up some dirt on the back. And here we go, here's the rain now. Here's our first sighting of Patagonia horses. We've come to a place called Harborton, which is quite close to Puerto Almanza, because we were recommended this place by a few locals. Unfortunately, the weather right now is really not great. It's like thunder and lightning, and the rain is really heavy. So it doesn't look like the best time to go and explore this place, but nonetheless, the views here are still very beautiful. We've decided that this is going to be one of those occasions where we just enjoy the view from the car and now we're going to carry on to Puerto Almanza. Look at this bridge. The plank of wood is missing. I think we will have to turn around here. Not sure the Toyota Yaris is going to go through the river. We've arrived in Puerto Almanza, and the reason we came here is because we spoke to a few locals and they all recommended this place, and I think they were right. There's some really beautiful views. Over there is the Beagle Channel, and then there's a load of mountains all around us. The rain has kind of significantly reduced now as well, so we can see a lot better. Unfortunately, it's not stopped. There's a whole bunch of fish restaurants along the front. I'm not sure if they're open yet because they do eat quite late here in Argentina. And here we have a load of horses just wildly roaming. There's a horse in the kids' playground. Also got a couple of people just camping out here as well. Looks like a really nice spot. That settlement that you can see right over there is Puerto Williams, and that is actually in Chile, not Argentina, so we're really not far at all right now. We've come into one of the restaurants here in Puerto Almanza. There's quite a few to choose from, and apparently they all have really good fresh fish, which is caught right out there in the Beagle Channel. But we picked this one for two reasons. First of all, it was one of the most accessible looking, and secondly, it looked like it had the best view. Unfortunately, the rain has picked up again and the mist is coming in, so we're losing the view, but it was nice for about 5 minutes. So apparently this is actually the heaviest rain they've had in over 2 months, so we've really not picked the best day to come here. We're starting off with a couple of empanadas. We've got one which is lamb and one which is king crab. We've seen a lot of stuff about king crab around this area, so I'm excited to try this one, but they're really hot.
Nice.
So now we have two dishes of fish which is locally caught. This one is a type of sea bass and this one is a paella. This fish is really nice. They've really been very generous with the amount of seafood in this paella. It's really packed. We are absolutely soaked, just running from the restaurant across the road and into the car. We are almost back to the main road, but first of all, we just had to stop and check out this river here. And what is really nice about being here in the Ushuaia area at this time of year is that there is so much daylight. So it's now about 9:30 p.m. in the evening and it's still this light. Look how dirty the car is now.
Today we're going to be staying a little bit closer and we're going to explore some of the spots in and around Ushuaia.
Wow, look at this. We've just come down to just at the end of Ushuaia, just at the outskirts, and there is this beautiful wild beach surrounded by trees over there, mountains across the water, lovely blue water. This place is stunning. I definitely take a wild beach like this over white sands any day. And right now there is nobody else here at all, which makes it even better. There were another couple of cars parked up at the top where we've parked. I think you can walk a bit further down, so maybe there are a couple of people further down there, but there's nobody else actually down here. I wish I had brought my swim stuff or at least a towel with me. The walk down here is pretty nice too. I love how the stairs here are just made from natural materials which just blend perfectly into the environment.
I've had to wait in the car, but that's not such a hardship when the views are this good. We just accidentally drove into the airport, but luckily this wasn't an issue because you can enter the airport for 15 minutes without any charge.
Is my see all 7 continents just done, and 5 of them I've skinny dipped. Down here by the port, you'll see all of these tour operators here, which are selling trips down the Beagle Channel and to an island where there's lots of penguins. We're not going to do it because we've just been to Antarctica and we already sailed down the Beagle Channel, but it was really beautiful. So if you're not going to Antarctica, I would recommend doing a little boat trip. One thing that you definitely will notice while wandering around Ushuaia is that there is a lot of signage about Malvinas. Malvinas is the Falkland Islands. Now, I don't really know anything about the Falkland Islands, if I'm honest, or the war, but what I have ascertained is that it is believed here that the Falklands is part of the Tierra del Fuego province, of which Ushuaia is the capital, and therefore Ushuaia is also the capital of the Falklands. Craig's just gone to this little shop to get some empanadas, and in our opinion these empanadas are actually not just some of the best here in Ushuaia, but also some of the best we've actually had all around. It's only a little small takeaway shop, but the empanadas are always freshly made, they're a good price, and this place is always really busy. Today we've come to explore the national park, and we've come here pretty early. It is about 20 to 8 in the morning, so hopefully it won't be too busy at this time of day. But we've just driven past the entry gates into the national park, and the entrance fee for this national park is phenomenal. I think it's the most expensive one we've ever seen anywhere in the world, even compared to in the US. Currently it's about $40, I think, per person to enter, which is pretty crazy for a national park. However, there was actually nobody at the gate because I think it doesn't officially open until 8 AM. So we've actually just driven in. We have driven right to the end of the national park, and then we're going to work our way back again and stop at some various other points. But this spot right at the end here is not only the end of the national park, it's actually the end of the road, quite literally, because it's the end of the Pan-American Highway, which is a 17,848 kilometer road, which goes all the way from Prudhoe Bay in Alaska all the way down to this point right here at the end of the world. And just by pure coincidence, I happen to be wearing these socks that I got in Alaska a couple of months ago. There were a number of camper vans here in this car park when we first arrived, and presumably they were either starting or finishing their drive. Apparently natives have been living in this area for as long as 6,500 years. We are going to try this walk here. Okay, scratch that, there's a whole load of steps on this path. Unfortunately, there is a viewpoint here though, so I've just quickly run up to check out the viewpoint while I'm here. Looks like it's actually slightly closed off. Okay, now we will head back down and try the next path. There's actually toilets with a disabled toilet out here. Just when we were starting to think that we didn't need to get here early, it's just turned 9:30 and 3 massive coaches and 2 minibuses have all just turned up at the same time. Look at the crowds of people. Gosh, it would be a completely different experience if we'd been here with all of those people. Now I'm thinking maybe we should have come even earlier. Now we've come into a much smaller car park, which hopefully is too small for a coach to come into. And we're going to go and give this walk a go, which I think goes to a lake, and it says it only has a total elevation change of 20 meters. So hopefully that's a good sign that there won't be steps. Unfortunately, there are a few steps, but they are quite shallow steps, so we can actually do this, albeit very slowly. There we go. Now for the next set. We've made it to Laguna Negra. It was a fairly easy walk really, and only about 15 minutes or so. And There's nobody else here either, which is extra nice. So I'm glad that we did go to that first stop first while it was quiet, because it seems like this is just a generally quieter stop anyway. Oh, you might want to bring bug spray if you come here, because I am getting bitten. We found another nice little quiet spot where nobody else is. This one doesn't seem to have any information about a trail or anything though, but I'm just gonna have a little wander and see what's here. Got this nice little bridge, ooh, with a big hole. Just over there across, you can see where there's a camper park. That's a campsite. Looks pretty nice. This bit here is actually a much longer trail, but I've just come to get a view of this lake here, Laguna Verde, because the main viewpoint for this lake is closed. Wow, this water is actually really green, so you can see where it gets its name from. We've just walked a few meters down from the car park and suddenly we're in this nice quiet spot. If you look down there, you might be able to see all the other people. But it is actually really nice here. The water is a really nice shade of blue. You've got the mountains on both sides. It's a bit windy, so you've got some waves. So this walk that we're doing now along the lake, I believe the whole walk is actually about 6 kilometers. We're not going to do the whole thing, I don't think. There's just a shorter stretch that goes along the lake and then it starts going inland, so we're just going to do the lake bit. New animal unlocked. Just come across a couple of birds over there that are new to us. Never seen them before. They've got really long beaks, quite long legs, and then quite a fat body. Ooh. Oh, we timed that well. More and more buses have just turned up just as we're about to leave. How many is there? About 8?
At least.
8 buses.
8 or 9.
I'm going quick before we get stuck.
Too quick. That's another 2 going to the same viewpoint.
At least 7 coaches in this car park and no one can leave because the coaches are blocking all the cars in. This is such a shame because this is such a beautiful spot here, but you just can't appreciate it because there are so many coaches over there. You can't hear the sounds of the landscape because the coaches are just idling. There's absolutely hundreds of people here and it's just a bit chaotic and overrun. But it's such a beautiful spot. The water is really clear, it's really blue. The scenery around is really nice, and I would leave and come back later when it's quieter, apart from we can't because we are trapped in by at least 5 buses waiting to get out. There's a real stench here from the fumes of cars idling too. I know we're part of the problem from being here too. There's just too many people, so I wouldn't recommend coming here at all, to be honest. We've just got back into Ushuaia and seen there's these 2 massive ships in dock today. So I bet that's why it was so busy actually. Probably just picked a really bad day.